Good morning students. In chapter gravitation, the next part is thrust and pressure. So first we should know what is thrust. The force exerted on a body is called thrust. The perpendicular force exerted on a body is called thrust. Suppose we exert a force on this board. So the perpendicular force we exert on this board is called thrust. So suppose this is an object and you apply force over it. So the perpendicular force exerted by your hands on this block is called thrust. So perpendicular force is called thrust. Now the pressure. Pressure depends on two factors. The force as well as on area. Let's take one example. We can take the example of the bag straps. You know that your bag straps have the wide straps. Your bag has the wide straps to hang your bag. What will happen if the bag should have, if a bag have a thin strap? Just imagine. What will happen if you have the thin strap of your bag? It will become uncomfortable, uneasy for you to carry the bag, heavy bag. So what is the difference between the wide straps and the small straps you use for a bag? Actually, when you use the wide strap of a bag, this weight of your bag load on the large area of your shoulders. And if you have a thin strap, then what will happen? This weight will be loaded, this weight will be exerted on the small area of your shoulder, and that's why you feel uncomfortable, uneasy and so heavy, though the weight of the bags are same. So in the second case, where you have the thin strap, the area exerted on your shoulder is less, and due to which the pressure exerted by the bag on your shoulder is higher. And what happens when you use a wide strap? In case of wide strap, this wide strap covers the large area of your shoulder, and that's why you feel easy. You feel easier, you can say, not so much heavy your bag. So it means the pressure exerted by the bag on your shoulder depends on the area. So there are two factors on which the pressure of the body depends. First one, the force. How much force is exerted? And we can say that pressure is directly proportional to the force. Larger the force, larger will be the pressure. Smaller the force, smaller will be the pressure. Second one, it depends on the area. Area to which you exert a force. If you increase the area, the pressure exerted on the body also decreases. Decreases. By increasing the area, you can decrease the pressure. So we can say that pressure is equal to force upon area. So pressure depends on two factors, force as well as area. By increasing the force, the quantity of pressure increases, and by decreasing the area, we can increase the pressure. Okay, we can define pressure like this. The force exerted per unit area. The force exerted per unit area is called pressure. The force exerted per unit area is called pressure. So now we can understand that pressure depends on the force as well as on the area. What is the SI unit of pressure? The SI unit of pressure is Pascal. Okay, according to the formula, what should be the SI unit of pressure? We know that the SI unit of force is Newton and area having meter square. So we can say the SI unit of pressure should be Newton per meter square. Or we can say Newton meter is to power minus 2. So this is the SI By increasing the pressure, force also increases. By decreasing the force, the pressure also decreases. But in case of area, by increasing area, pressure decreases, and by decreasing area, pressure increases. It means they are inversely proportional to each other. And we can define the force like the pressure like the force exerted per unit area is called pressure. The SI unit of pressure is Newton per meter square, or we can say Pascal. So Pascal is the SI unit of pressure. Now we are able to do some simple numerical based on this formula. Pressure is equal to force upon area. The question is, okay, again one thing I want to explain you that if the same force is exerted on a body, suppose 10 Newton force exerted on a body, and the area in the first case is 2 meters square and in the second case is 5 meters square. So in which case the pressure will be large? Obviously, where the area is 2 meters square, the pressure will be 5 Pascal. Or here the pressure will be 2 Pascal. So what is the reason for the large pressure in the first case? Force are same, but since we decrease the area, so the pressure increases. Okay, let's do some questions. A force of 100 Newton. I always say you that every line of numerical have a meaning. So, and the art you have to learn how can you find out the values which are given in the question. Like the question is a force of 100 Newton. Now, what is 100 Newton? This is force. We can also find out what is the value it is given by finding it unit. 100 Newton. Newton means the SI unit of force is Newton. So we can see the force is 100 Newton. Is applied on an object of area 2 meters square. Here the area is 2 meters square. You have to find the pressure. So you will see the formula of pressure is equal to force upon area. And what is the value of force? It is 100 Newton upon the area is 2 meters square. So you can say 50 Pascal is the pressure exerted on a body. So the question is, a force of 100 Newton is applied to an object of area 2 meters square. Calculate the pressure. Let's do some more matter. Physics is totally based on numericals. Theory as well as numerical. Both are important in case of physics. Second question is, a woman is wearing sharp heel shoes. As a woman always wear a sharp heel shoe or a pencil heel shoe. If the mass of the woman is 50 kg, so here the mass is given. Mass is equal to 50 kg. Now we know that for finding the pressure we have to calculate the force as well as the area. So here in case we have the value of mass, not the force. So we will find the force exerted by the woman on the ground. How can we find it? We can find it by using the formula force is equal to M into T. Then we can say M into A. So when you are here on this earth, the acceleration is equal to the acceleration due to gravity. So you can say in case of when a woman is stepped on a floor, on a earth, the force exerted by the woman on the ground is M into G. M is 50 and G is, if it is given in the question that the value of G is 10 meters square, then you will use this value of G is equal to 10 meters square. Otherwise you have to use 9.8 meter per second square. So 500 Newton is the force exerted by the woman on the ground. stand just on one heel. When she stands on one heel, you have to find how much pressure is exerted by the woman on the ground. Then you will say that pressure is equal to force upon area, and we have calculated the value of force. How we calculate the value of force by mass? We know that force is equal to m into g in case of a woman which is step on the ground. So the force exerted by the woman in the ground should be equal to the m into g, where g is the acceleration due to gravity, and in the question it is given that the value of g is 10 meter square, 10 meter per second square. So we can find the value of force. Now area is given in the form of centimeter square. You will convert it into meter square as it is the SI unit of area. So you will see the force will be 500 divided by 1 upon 100 into 100. When you found out you have to divide the fractions, it becomes easy if you write it like this. 500 divided by 1 upon 100 into 100. Now it becomes easy for you to calculate because we know that if we multiply this, if we want to convert the divide into multiplication, we will reciprocal this part. So it will be 500 multiplied by 100 into 100 upon 1. Or we can say 5 into 10 power 6 Pascal. This is the pressure exerted by the woman on the ground. So you can find out how much pressure is exerted by the woman on the ground because she wears a pencil heel. If the area of her slipper, we can say, is large, the pressure exerted by the woman on the ground will be decreased. Now one more question. Now this question is important for understanding how the pressure depends on the area. The question is a rectangular wooden block has the mass of 4 kg. Now you have the mass which is 4 kg. A rectangular wooden block having the mass of 4 kg. The length, breadth and height of this block is 50, 25 and 10 centimeter. 50, 25 and 10 centimeter. This is the length, breadth and height of this wooden block. Centimeter. Find the pressure on the tabletop. In first part, when the wooden block is kept with its surface measuring 50 by 25, you have to calculate how much pressure is exerted by this wooden block on the table if this part is rest on the top of the table. So, if you want to find pressure, you will need the formula of the pressure is equal to force upon area. So first you have to calculate the value of force, and the value of G is 10 meter per second square is given in the question. So we will say the force exerted by the wooden block on the table is equal to M into G. M is 4 kg and G is 10. So it is 40 Newton. 40 Newton is the force exerted by the block on the table. Now if you kept the block in such a position that this surface is rest on the tabletop, then the area of this block which are in contact with the table is 50 multiplied with the 25, because this block is the form of rectangle and we know that the rectangle have the area length into breadth. So the area of this part which we rest on the top of the table is 50 into 25. Now the most important thing is you know that the area should be in meter square and it is given in the form of centimeter. So what will you do? You have to divide it by 100 so that we can convert it into meter square. It will be 25 4 100, 52 some 1 upon 8 meter square. This is the area of the block which is in contact with the tabletop. Now, you know that pressure is equal to force upon area. What is the value of force here? Force is 40 Newton. And we have to divide it by 1 upon 8. And I told you, if you want to divide by fraction, it's become easy when you write it like this. Divided by 1 upon 8. Multiply by 8 upon 1. 320 Pascal. This is the pressure exerted by the block on the table. Now in the second part. When the wooden block is kept with the surface 25 by 10 on the tabletop. Now you are placing this block such that 25 by 10 is on the top of the table. It means you place the block like this. Perpendicular 25 by 10 and 50. So here you have to find how much pressure is exerted by this block. So again, you know the value of force exerted by the block on the table, that is 40 Newton. And in this part, we have to find the area exerted by the block on the table. It will be length 25 multiplied with the breadth, that is 10. Now both values are in centimeter, then we will convert it into meter. Upon 100 into 100, 25 4, it is 1 upon 40. Now we can calculate the pressure by using the formula. Pressure is equal to force upon area. What is the value of force here? It is again 40 Newton divided by 1 upon 40. This is the area. Then you will get 40 multiplied with the 40, 1600 Pascal. You can see that if you are placing the block such that the area which are in contact with the table is large, then the pressure exerted on the table is less. Or in case when you place the block like that, the area which is in contact with the table is less, then the pressure exerted by the block on the table is large. So these are some numerical based on the pressure. So two things you should remember, that force, you should know the value of force. And if it is not given in the question, suppose the mass is given like this question, then you will find out force by the formula F is equal to M into A, M into G. It depends on question. And you should know the value of area. For area, you should always remember that the area should be in meter square. If it is not given in the question that the area is in meter square, then you will convert it into meter square. Now there are some explanation which you observe in your daily life, which are based on the pressure. And it's very interesting to understand all these things. Like why the school bags have the wide steps. So you have to write all the answers of these questions in your notebook. These are given type of questions. These type of questions are also there in the chapter 2, which are based on the Newton's first law, second one, third law. And again, in this part of pressure, we also have some reasons. First one, why the school bags have the wide steps? Why the school bags have wide strap? So, you can answer this question like this. If a school bag have a wide strap, then the area which are in contact with the shoulder of a child is large. You can imagine again, if you have the wide strap, then the area which are in contact with your shoulders is large. And we know that pressure is inversely proportional to the area. So by increasing the area, we decrease the pressure exerted on the shoulders. Again, you will write the answer on the basis of the relation between the pressure and the area. First, you will say that if your bag have a wide strap, then the area which are in contact with the shoulder of a child is large. You can also pause this video for writing your answer. So you will say that the area which are in contact with the shoulder of the child is large. And we know that the first thing is this one, and the second point we will write that you don't need to write in the form of points, but you can understand in the form of points. The second point is you will say that we know that pressure is inversely proportional to the area. This is the second point. And third one, you will say that by increasing the area, the pressure exerted on the shoulder the child can easily carry a heavy school bag. Yeah, school bag is always heavy. So, this is the one part of the question. Then you will explain why the school bags are the widest step. And again, on the other hand, you also have to say, on the other hand, what will happen if your school bag has thin strips? Then you will say, if your school bag has a thin strip, then the area which are in contact with the shoulder of the child is less. And as the area is less, the pressure exerted by the bag on the shoulder of the child increases. It is large. Less area, large pressure. So you will say, since the area which are in contact with the shoulder of the child decreases, is less, so the pressure exerted on the shoulder of the child increases, or we can say it is large. And that's why a child will feel a heavy load on his shoulders. So that's why the school bag having the widest strips. So you can also write this answer by pause this video. Now the second one, why a sharp knife cut better than the blunt knife? Why sharp knife can cut better than blunt knife? You already noticed this thing. Then if your knife is blunt, it does not have the sharp edge, then it's become very difficult to cut the fruits or vegetables. I know you will not cut vegetables at your home, but you cut it some fruits. So again, you will explain like this. When a knife has a blunt edge means you can say that, suppose this is apple. This is apple and you are going to cut it with a knife. If the edge of the knife is, this is the apple. And if this edge is thin, a sharp edge, then the area which are in contact with this apple decreases. If a knife has a sharp edges, then the area which are in contact with the apple is less. And we know that pressure depends on area. Yeah, we can say pressure inversely proportional to the area. So by decreasing the area, we increase pressure. And that's why it's become easy for us to cut this apple by this sharp knife. And what will happen if you have the blunt knife? The blunt knife, in the case of blunt knife, the edge of this blunt knife is thick. It means the area which are in contact with this apple, the area of the knife which are in contact with the apple increases. Because this has a blunt shape. Means कि ये मोटा है. जब ये मोटा है तो इसके contact में ज़्यादा area आएगा. So if a blunt knife is in contact with the apple, then the area exerted, then the area which are in contact with the apple increases. And we know that the pressure inversely proportional to the area. So we can say by increasing area, the pressure decreases. And that's why it becomes difficult for us to cut the apple with the blunt knife. So again, you can write your answer in the form of points. First you will say, if a knife has a blunt, if a knife is blunt, then the area which are in contact, this is the second point, then the area which are in contact with the apple with the knife and the knife is increases. Second point. Third point, we know that the pressure is inversely proportional to the area. So by increasing area, the pressure decreases. And then you can explain that, so that a blunt knife exerts less pressure on the apple. And that's why it becomes difficult for us to cut the apple with this knife. Again, you will explain on the other hand, the other part of this question. Now you will say that, again, in case of sharp knife, the area which are in contact with the apple decreases. First. Second by decreasing area, we increase the pressure exerted on the apple. And fourth point, so it becomes easy for us to cut the apple with the sharp knife. So such type of questions are there which are based on the pressure. Okay, let's take few more examples. Why a tip of the needle is sharp? So you can write all the answers by taking these 3 or 4 steps. Why the tip of the needle is sharp? Why tip of needle is sharp? So again, we'll explain it like this. If a tip of the needle is sharp, this tip is sharp. A sharp, in case of sharp needle, the area which are in contact with the cloth or any other object, the area which are in contact with the cloth is decreases. Since the point of the needle is sharp, so we can say the area which are in contact with the cloth is decreases. Okay. Second one, we will say that we know that the freshness depends on the area. It is inversely proportional to the area. So by decreasing the area, we increase the pressure exerted on the cloth. You will say that a sharp needle having less area in contact, so that the pressure exerted on the cloth is increases, and its size become easy for us to stitch it or something else. Or again, you will say on the other hand, if the tip of the needle is not sharp, then the area which are in contact with the cloth will increases, and then you will say we know that the area is inversely proportional to the pressure. By increasing area, the pressure decreases, but the pressure decreases, and then you will see it becomes difficult for us to stitch. So such type of questions are there which are based on the principle of pressure. Okay, the pressure depends on the area as well as the force. So we are not going to change the force. Force वही है, but what you are changing? You are changing the area of contact. So the next question is why the pressure on the ground is more when the man is walking than he is standing. When you walk, you exert large pressure on the ground as in case of when you are standing on the ground. So what happens? When you stand on the ground, you are on your 2 feet. With your 2 feet, the area in contact with the ground increases. And we know that the pressure depends on the area, or we can say by increasing the area, we can increase the pressure. So the pressure exerted on the ground decreases. But in case of when you are walking, you can notice that your 1 foot are in contact with the ground. So you can say if your 1 foot is in contact with the ground, then the less area will be there which are in contact with the ground. Since the area is less, so you can say the pressure exerted on the ground is increases. So such again more different type of questions are there. Why the depression is much more when a man is standing on the cushion than it is lie down on it. Suppose at your home you have a cushion. You can see that if you are stand on cushion, then what will happen? The more impression will be there on the cushion. And if you lay down on the cushion, then the pressure, then the impression on the cushion will decreases. So what happens? Again the same reason. When you are standing on the cushion, the area in contact with the cushion is decreases. So that's why the pressure increases. And when you lay down on the cushion, the area in contact with the cushion is increases, and that's why the pressure decreases. So the same answers are for all the different type of questions. Why the tractors having the broad tires? We know that we use the tractor in muddy areas. So in muddy areas, the pressure, the force of the tractor is so high because it has to load a heavy load, it have to take a heavy load. So the pressure is, so the force is same. But if the tractor having the broad tires, the area which are in contact with the ground is increases, and that's why the pressure increases. And that's why do not get impressed, do not get immersed into the mud. And that's why the tractors have the wide steps, wide tires. You have this wooden strap increase the area because a heavy loaded or heavy train have to be moved from this track. Now, by placing this wooden strap, we are increasing the area, and we know that by increasing the area, the pressure exerted decreases, and that's why we use the wooden straps along with the railway track. Okay, this is a question from my side, that it advise when you are there in a it's called marshy area, daldal, then you should lay down. You should not try to stand or walk on the marshy area. So it is advised the muddy form. If you are there if you are the first day is muddy area, so it is advised that you should not walk. You should lay down. Then this is question from my side. Then in next video we will discuss about the pressure in fluid and biomachine, a very important part of this chapter. So okay, have a nice day.